Hey there, comic book fans. Another week of no new comics. Maybe they come in next week. I don't remember. Um, but still, I'll show you some stuff that I pulled off my shelf and was reading this week. First of all, I forgot to show you this last week. I finished reading Uber Volume 1, which I think I showed you a couple weeks ago. There's 27 issues in Volume 1. Uh, of which I'm missing the last three issues. I had to read them digitally, but I was like, oh, I forgot I had bought these. I started buying Uber with the Volume 2, which is called Uber Invasion. So I never had the Volume 1 ones except digitally, so I wanted to get them physically. And I ended up buying the first 24 issues in a lot, plus a couple of specials. Um, and it wasn't until I finally when did I get these, last winter sometime? It wasn't until I finally sat down to read them and got near the end I was like, oh, that's right, I'm missing the last three issues. I'll get them someday, but like I said, I read them digitally just to finish up the story as I was reading it. But really good stuff. There's Volume 1 and like I said, Volume 2 I think has one more story arc left before it's done. So that was really good. And what series did I pick up to read after that? Rex Mundi. So I'm up to issue 11. This is really good stuff. I think I did a video showing off the covers of this a few years ago now. And I haven't read it since I think it ended. And it ran from 2002 until 2007, I think it was. I think there's about Volume 1 was with Image and Volume 2 was with Dark Horse. I think there's about 20 issues each volume or so, and it's really good stuff. Who's writing this one? Arvid Nelson is the writer. Eric J is the artist, but I think he only lasts a few more issues, Eric J. He does a nice job. Then I think there's another guy, I forget who, takes over like two issues. Then Juan Ferreira, is that his name? The guy who did Colder for Dark Horse. I remember he did that, and then I think he's been doing stuff since. But so they both did I think Juan Ferreira did most of Volume 2 and some of Volume 1, but it's really good stuff. It's kind of very similar to the Da Vinci Code. I think it came out slightly before the Da Vinci Code. At least it's not really similar. They just draw from the same sources. But this one takes place in an alternate history in the 1930s. And in this alternate history, the Protestant Reformation never happened. So Europe is still ruled by their royal families, and the church is still really powerful. Let me give you a look at the inside. And it's just this mystery. There's this doctor, here he is, Saunier, named after character. Have you ever seen any Henry Lincoln documentaries on the Knights Templar and the Holy Grail, which is where the Da Vinci Code draws a lot of its mythology from? This draws a lot from those Henry Lincoln documentaries in the 70s too. It's just good. Like I said, he takes place in the 1930s. Dr. Saunier, and there's also, besides being an alternate history, there's a little bit of magic in this world too. It's not really Doctor Strange, big world-breaking magic, and no one in this really is. It's just another thing that exists. It's magic, and using magic isn't illegal, but using magic in a criminal way is witchcraft, and that's illegal. And so there's a little bit of that going on. There's a little bit of the church keeping an eye on things. There's a secular police. There's like a church police force who are the Inquisitors, and there's a secular police force takes place in Paris too, by the way, who's less powerful. And the doctor runs into somebody who's murdered. Those are the Inquisitors right there. They wear these masks. He runs to he gets involved in this whole plot and conspiracy, and he's trying to figure out what's going on, and there's all sorts of geopolitics going on in the background because France wants to take over the Middle East and this and that. It's an alternate history. Imagine if the royal families and the church and the Catholic Church was as powerful as ever in the 1930s. So really, really good stuff. I haven't I don't think I've read an issue of this since like 2007, I think it was, when it ended. So I'm having a real good time rereading it. It's an excellent, excellent book. What else did I pull off my shelf? Oh, there's this. I already gave this its own video. The last video I made this past weekend was on George Sprott by Seth. And you can go back and look at this one, but I really enjoyed rereading this. Once again, came out in 2009, and I don't think I've reread it since then, but excellent, excellent. George Sprott, enjoyed that. And then what did I pull out this week and start? Fletcher Hanks, You Shall Die by Your Own Evil Creation. I'm only a little ways into it there. But this is one of those that I have this and the sequel that have been sitting on my shelf for 3 or 4 years now that I have finally pulling down and reading. And this is some Golden Age stuff. But it's weird Golden Age stuff in that this guy's kind of famous for me. I think this stuff came out in like 39 and 40. That's how early it is. Somewhere around there. Really, really early. As I say, it's before all the rules were set in comic books. So he just made these wacky, far-out comics. And it's not really a it's so bad it's good situation. He's actually pretty good. Oh, there's a guy getting stabbed in the back. He's actually a pretty good cartoonist. It's just that the stories are so insane. And they're all like 6 or 8 pages, and they just keep going. It's just like, then this thing happens, then this thing happens, and this horrible thing happens. Then this, guys getting punched through walls. Like I said, I've only just started it. There's supposedly lots of violence and craziness in this. And there's just these crazy monsters and crazy people. Like I said, he's actually a pretty solid cartoonist. And these are actually pretty easy. Now sometimes that Golden Age stuff is tough to get through. This is not tough to get through at all. The stories breeze by very quickly, and they're very entertaining. So I look forward to reading some more of it. But check out Fletcher Hanks, You Shall Die by Your Own Evil Creation. And the little bio in front was fascinating too, because he was just a nut job. And they have a little interview with there's his son. Oh, he was a bad father and abandoned the family when the son was still a boy, and they were happy to get rid of him. That's how bad a father he was. But interesting book from the very beginning of the Golden Age of comics. Now we'll give you a little look at the cover that's in my bought only for their covers section this week that I've had lying out. And this is, look, I got something mainstream. Actually, it's in double mylar, so it's always going to be shiny. This is what's the guy? Oh, all of a sudden I can't remember his first name. Johnson. He does a lot of covers. I like his work. Oh, I don't know why I'm blanking on his first name right now. But this is a Deadpool Steranko parody cover. I just remember I bought this. When did this one come out? Who knows? It's still $2.99, so it came out a while ago. But bought this one just because I like the cover one week. So it's in my top of my printer in my little art section there, so I can pick it up and look at it all week. Now I'll replace it with another one. Now that I've shown it off in the video, and we'll show you a little something from my original art collection too. And this is one time, I don't know, 10 years ago, I bought some Ron Frenz pieces. This was just like a package of Ron Frenz sketches and stuff. I was like, all right, the price was right. And let me pull this out of this is how I like to keep my stuff in Mylar, so I can pick it up and look at it. And we'll take it out of the Mylar and this is also what I do. If you look, I have these, they're actually on a piece of old Marvel paste-up board. And I just use like little, if you look down the bottom, little photo corners to mount them. So they slide in and out of the corners if I want to take them down. But these are just sketches he did for some character design stuff. And colored that one in colored pencil. That one too. So they were just, who is this? The Serpent's Tooth Field Agents and the Wild Pack by Ron Friends. Not dated, but, I picked them up years ago, so they're in the collection. Like I said, this came with about 6 or 8 pieces. I'll show them all off over the weeks. So, but I just always thought that was cool. I really liked the Ron Friends sketches that I got. I was never a huge Ron Friends fan because he does mostly mainstream Marvel stuff, I think. But the sketches I bought of his, I think I got the. I may have made a video about it years ago. I bought all the breakdowns he did of a Spider-Girl issue. Really nice stuff. I really enjoy his sketches and breakdowns. So there's a Ron Friends piece of art. Now let me show you one of my pieces of art. You have another painting back here. Here we go. What's this guy's name? I can't remember. He's not at liberty. There we go. We'll bring it up. We'll show you a little bit of the paint on the eyes and those strange lips. Like I said, he's yet another person living in the dream world, and he's a person who's always watching what's going on, and he won't tell you about it. He's not at liberty to say. But he's keeping an eye on the dream world. Who knows what he's thinking about it, because he's not at liberty to say. But there you go. There's Not at Liberty. I'm looking at things. I have one more canvas this size that I'm going to paint sometime. Not this week, though. I'm kind of burnt out this week, so I might not do a big painting or ink drawing. I've been working on one of my 11x17 covers. Covers to comics that don't exist. So maybe you'll see that next week when I finish it up. But all right, you guys all have a good week out there.